In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. But is Green Lantern a film that can provide universal appeal and please the nerds who wear the symbol and can quote the oath from memory? Find out on Movieology. A brotherhood of warriors sworn to keep intergalactic order, each Green Lantern wears a ring that grants him the ability to wield the green energy of will. But when a new enemy called Parallax threatens to destroy the universe using the yellow power of fear, their fate and the fate of Earth lie in the hands of their newest recruit, the first human ever selected, Hal Jordan. Hal is a gifted and cocky test pilot, but the Green Lanterns have little respect for humans, who have never harnessed the infinite powers of the ring before. Hal must overcome his own fears and find the will to save himself, Earth, and the Green Lantern Corps before it's too late. Green Lantern stars Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, Mark Strong, Jeffrey Rush, and Tim Robbins. It was directed by Martin Campbell. Welcome to a special green edition of Movieology, your ticket to engaging the spectacular world of film from the bedrock of biblical truth. I'm Stuart Adams. Don't forget to visit Movieology on our website, our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, and our Twitter. Email us at info@movieology.tv and be sure to sign up for Movieology's free newsletter on the website. In the world of DC Comics, Green Lantern is one of my favorites, so you could say that I had very high hopes for the film adaptation. This movie does succeed in some aspects as they pertain to the production quality. The acting is pretty good with the exception of a very stiff portrayal of Carol Ferris by Blake Lively, and the script is adequate but not exceptional. This film is extremely CG heavy as everything from the heroes' costumes to the entire Lantern homeworld of Oa is computer generated. This isn't really a bad thing except in a few instances where the computer animation just looks a little too much like computer animation. Where Green Lantern starts to come unraveled is with its basic narrative and lack of character development. Hal Jordan is the most developed character and he spends most of the movie moping about and doing his best to prove that he's reckless and irresponsible. It isn't until nearly the end of the movie that he transitions into the hero that we all want him to be, and by then we are just wondering why it didn't take place earlier. Out of over 7,200 members of the Green Lantern Corps, a grand total of 5 of them actually have speaking parts in the movie. Abin Sur is the Lantern who dies in the beginning and passes on his ring to Hal Jordan. The other Lanterns include Kilowog, whose part is limited to a 5-minute training session with Hal, and a line at the end of the movie wherein he takes credit for Hal's triumph, apparently because he trained him for 5 minutes. Tomar Ray's character has a unique history in that his sector includes a little planet called Krypton, which he failed to keep from being destroyed in the comics. The movie mentions nothing about this, a wasted opportunity for a Justice League tie-in and a waste of the character in general. The only other Lantern who has any part to speak of is Sinestro, whose portrayal by Mark Strong is great. Yet the filmmakers managed to squander the performance with an inconsistent and confused version of the classic anti-hero turned villain. In the source material, Sinestro always had ulterior motives and would only go along with a plan if it benefited him somehow. His attraction to the yellow power of fear is one that is alluded to in the film, as he petitions the Guardians to forge a yellow ring in order to fight fear with fear. But when the ring is found to be unnecessary in defeating the threat, Sinestro concedes the point and basically says, "You were right, will is stronger than fear," which is completely contrary to his character and is even inconsistent with the short teaser clip shown after the credits. The other big problem I had with the film pertains to the villain known as Parallax. Transformed by the yellow energy, this monstrous entity establishes a mental link with the scientist on Earth named Hector Hammond. Hammond is granted superhuman abilities along with an inflated head and seeks to take revenge on Hal for always being the favorite as the two grew up together. Parallax is drawn to Earth by this link with Hector, but when he arrives he looks at him and says, "You have failed me," before killing him. Yeah, it's not really clear as to what Hammond's task was or how he failed it. The worldview of Green Lantern actually contains some really interesting subjects despite the flawed narrative and characters. The film has an obvious evolutionary view of the origin of the universe, as it is stated in the opening scene that it is billions of years old. There's an interesting parallel to this, however, as the film makes a point of mentioning that Earth and its inhabitants are young. A far cry from presenting a young Earth creation science, the movie merely implies that the Earth is young compared to the rest of the universe. In the end, the film's theme boils down to a very humanistic, "the power is inside of you" message, which is disappointing considering the parallels that could have been made to biblical passages like John 15, wherein God states that He chose us. Now, while that simmers around in your brain, let's take a second to thank our sponsor. American Vision is dedicated to restoring America's biblical foundation. They have invaluable resources for history, apologetics, eschatology, and worldview studies. As a Movieology fan, you are treated to 10% off all purchases at AmericanVision.com when you use the coupon code Hollywood at checkout. American Vision is the ministry that will help you understand the world you live in, so check them out at AmericanVision.com. These are just a few of the many elements of Green Lantern that are disappointing. I could go on and on about how the ending was underwhelming, the romance was borrowed directly from Superman, the movie apologizes for itself, etc., etc., etc. I give Green Lantern 2 stars for being a weak attempt at storytelling that still contains some elements that will excite fans of the comics and people just looking for mindless entertainment. The worldview of the film does raise some interesting questions, but never gives the right answers. As always, be sure to research this movie for content before going to see it. If you'd like to discuss this movie further, please email us at info@movieology.tv, or you can message us on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. Until next time, I'm Stuart Adams. Thanks for watching. It's pretty good, with the exception of a very... from memory. The projector...
It's completely...
It's been called that before, but not by you. Man, I am such a nerd, you know? In order to fight fear with fear. One ring to rule them all. One ring to find them. One ring to bring them all. And in the darkness, bind them. Wait. Because see, it's like a kid's ring. So I had to make some modifications and cut the whole back end out of it so it would fit. And it's like, so there's this piece of finger flesh that's sticking out.
Ooh, so it's kind of like pinching.
Yeah, and it kind of itches, but it's worth it, right?